Teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK brought to you in part by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together. DJ, PK, and we're joined once again by Ken Pomeroy, college basketball guru of KenPom.com. Ken, good morning.
Good morning. What's that intro music?
It's Christmas music from Kurt Bester, who was chosen as the artist of the day.
Okay, great. Well, I approve then.
And that ought to fire you up.
Yeah, well, that was the idea. Like, I mean,
it was a little sleepy.
A little bit,
yeah. It's like the Masters. There's always one day or 1 week where you have the guys on from the Masters or guys on the golf show go there. And we'll have Bob Casper and Brian Taylor on, and they come in with the little piano from the Masters, and it's soothing, and I almost fall asleep in here. It's like, need something, a little pep. Let's go.
I mean, I just need it personally, guys. I don't know about your audience, but anyway, I'm ready to go.
Let's start with the big headline. BYU looks really good. They've played a half dozen games against power conference teams, and they're going to play a Big 12 schedule with a bunch of ranked teams there. They play 3 of them twice. They're going to get Texas Tech twice, Arizona twice, and Utah twice. Tech and Arizona are both ranked. Where are you thinking the Cougars are going to be seated if you try to look ahead a couple of months here?
Oh, I mean, the sky is almost the limit for that. I don't think a 1 seed is necessarily unrealistic, but it's unlikely. There's some really good teams at the top of college basketball this year. But after that, I mean, yeah, you could see them getting a 2 seed without any question. 2 or a 3, probably a 2. I'd almost bet on a 2 at this point. They've had the only scary thing is that sometimes they just don't show up for the first half, and saw that against UConn and against Clemson and against Delaware. Actually, it was another example where they just did not show up for the first half. There's a type of team. I'm just going to throw this out there. I was thinking about this the other day. There have been teams in the past where, they have like a star that they can go to at the end of the game, and they're really confident that if it's a close game, they're going to, get points from this person, either scoring or at the free throw line. And obviously BYU kind of fits that mold with Devonsa. The last thing I remember like this is like Blake Griffin, Oklahoma, where they didn't have a lot of depth. It was mostly a one-man team. And they rose to number 1 in the polls. And they were never really like that high in any sort of power ranking because they did take some possessions off, I think subconsciously knowing that the game was almost in the bag at the end of the game. And BYU's not quite on that level yet, but I'm curious to see how they navigate the Big 12 schedule if this happens. If they, even against weaker teams, they don't necessarily put them away because they know that, 2 minutes left, they can give the ball to AJ and, he can make things happen. It's going to be fun times in Provo, I think, over the next 2 to 3 months.
Conference season is pretty much over, or non-conference, I should say, as far as that goes. I mean, I realize that they still have a couple more games and all, but the point I'm making, have you been able to, with some form of good legitimacy, create a ranking in terms of conferences and who's better and who's that and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about legitimacy, PK. And,
you should be. I've been trying to push that on you for as long as I've known you.
Been working on that, and we have legitimate conference rankings. And I guess the story this year is that, last year the story was the SEC was sort of this dominant league that, historically dominant, almost all their teams getting into the tournament, 14 out of 16 getting into the tournament, and then, having reasonable success in the NCAA tournament as well. It was really one of the best leagues of modern history. The SEC, I still have it rated as the top league, but it's significantly weaker than it has been. And mostly the reason they're the top league is that the bottom is good, which is probably not a reason that, most people want to rate leagues. Like when it comes to getting tournament bids, it's kind of TBD as to which league's going to get the most. You got the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. I mean, they're all pretty similar in terms of overall strength. The SEC's bottom is stronger. The top is not nearly as strong as it was last year. Like there's, Vanderbilt is the highest rated team in the league right now. I believe the highest ranked team in the AP poll as well, for those who believe in that sort of stuff. And they're a legitimate team, but like they're not, on the level of Florida or Auburn last year, or even Alabama. It's just a little bit down at the top of the league. And then you got the Big Ten and the Big 12 have better teams at the top. The bottom is also lower for both of those leagues, but all three of those leagues are, basically within the margin of error of each other. And if people care about which league is the best league, it's going to come down to, I'm sure, for popular opinion, which teams or which leagues get the most teams in the tournament, and then how those teams fare in the tournament. And for some people, the best league is simply determined by who wins the title game. And for those people, maybe it'll be one of those three leagues, or maybe it'll be, maybe it'll be Duke. It's usually the ACC people that like to go that route. And if Duke or Carolina or somebody else, Louisville, wins the title, they'll claim that the ACC was the best league. And hey, I'm not going to put up much of a fight about that.
We have to watch so much football, and we probably have at least 7, but really 8, 9. Yeah, with Weber State football, maybe we're about to have 10 teams we got to track. So watching a lot of out-of-state college basketball, I'm just not going to have time to do a lot of that. But I did read and saw a couple scores, and I did read Michigan is awesome. Even among the awesome teams, they're awesome. And when I looked at KenPom.com to confirm that, I was like, whoa, net rating, they're like 4.5 points in front of everybody else. Do you view Michigan as a powerhouse and everyone in college basketball is chasing them? Because right now, looking at your rankings, I think you're about to say yes.
I think the best way to put it is that Michigan's peak has been better than anybody else's. I mean, Michigan's peak has been amazing. The bizarre thing about Michigan is that, the second game of the year they play a Wake Forest team that, probably not going to be in the tournament and really should have lost that game. There was a late comeback. They went to overtime. They won the game. But that was a pretty ugly performance. They struggled badly with TCU in the very next game, another team that, probably won't make the tournament. And since then, they have just been, wrecking teams. I mean, they went to the Players Era Festival. That's where it really, opened people's eyes, and they just annihilated San Diego State, annihilated Auburn, annihilated Gonzaga. And since then, the reputation has been born that, this team is really, really good. I mean, they'll get their test in Big Ten play. And they actually, are coming off a game against Maryland where the score was lopsided, but they were only ahead by 3 with 10 minutes left. And Maryland's another team not going to make the tournament or really come close. So that's the way I put it. At Michigan's peak, I mean, you beat Gonzaga by 40 in any year. It's a big deal. I believe that was the worst loss in Mark Stew's career. So in any year, that's a big deal. But if you also look at my ratings, there's Gonzaga's, I believe, still number 2 today. So that was a pretty crazy one. So yeah, Michigan at its best, I think, is better than anybody else. They're not, this is not, 1991 UNLV or something like that. I mean, it's there's other, very good teams out there that have also had very impressive wins, like Iowa State, winning by 20 plus at Purdue, and Arizona's been rolling. Duke very young, but seem to have all the pieces to make another push for a Final Four or a national title. So there are other teams out there, but yeah, I would say Michigan right now, rightfully the favorite to win the title.
Based on your rankings, do you take more crap in the non-conference or during the conference?
Man, I do take a lot of crap in the non-conference.
That's what I thought. Sure. Yeah, and I always enjoy it each time you do, by the way.
I enjoy it too, actually. A nice, fun ritual for me is just, there's plenty of crap out there. So on social media, and I just when the crap comes in, I just bookmark the crap, and we'll check back in at the end of the season. There was a guy who made a social media account just to not very politely tell me, that I was crazy about his team. And his team was Georgetown, which, Georgetown might make this year, but they got a lot of work to do. They just got taken to overtime by St. Peter's, but he was irate that they were getting a few votes in the AP poll, and I had them ranked 83rd or something. And so irate that he created a social media account solely to let me know this. And so I'm being patient, but at the end of the year, I'm petty enough where I might post a screenshot
and go back at it. Yeah,
that was going to be my follow-up. Do you bookmark these just so you can look back with satisfaction and think, yeah, he's wrong, I'm right. He's wrong, I'm right. Or do you literally tweet, how do you like me now?
It's mostly for the purposes of a year-end, post on Substack to, just recap all of the bad opinions about my ratings. That's mostly the purpose, which I was too lazy to do last year because the ratings actually performed really well last year, and there weren't I think people just gave up and gave me some credit. But the year before, I think there were quite a few, and I just had them all bookmarked, and it's great content at the end of the year.
Sure, why not? That's part of the fun. Kentucky with Mark Pope, man, he's been under the microscope. What do you think?
I think it's a fascinating situation. I mean, these are I love these kind of storylines in college basketball where obviously the expectations greatly exceeded reality there, and Kentucky fans are impatient. I mean, last year they were you get 1 year of quasi patience, and
right.
I think Kentucky pretty much overachieved last year, but obviously the expectations were so low that they weren't really a serious Final Four national title threat.
Right.
And that's kind of it in modern times. You get 1 year, and then if you're in Kentucky and you are not threatening to go to a Final Four, there will be immediate heat on you. And there's I don't know about rightfully, but there's immediate heat on Mark Pope in Kentucky right now because they obviously have struggled. And it's just not that they've lost to good teams. They've generally not been competitive, getting run off the floor by Gonzaga and Michigan State, and losing to Louisville. I mean, that game was more competitive. It was a road game. You kind of understand that. Louisville's pretty good this year, but you just don't, there's no star power on that team. You just don't see the path to, them meeting kind of the expectation of being a top 10 team this year. I think I would be surprised if they didn't make the tournament. I think they're good enough to make the tournament and even be a 6, 7, 8 seed, somewhere in there. But it's a serious struggle for them, and obviously got the big game this weekend against St. John's, which every game for them just seems so critical. Like the Indiana game, they could just come off winning that, and everything seems it's okay. You just look at the final score, and they pulled away late, as they probably should, but they were trailing 8 or 9 at halftime. I mean, it was scary stuff. They lose that game. I mean, it's rough, and obviously the crowd is not supportive. I mean, it's an interesting situation there. I don't know what his future looks like if they end up getting say an 8 seed or something like that. Mm-hmm. I assume he'd be back, but there would be questions.
Yeah, they should have hired Kevin Young.
I mean, yeah, you look. That's the whole thing, though. If they do let him go, I mean, you remember the coaching search. It didn't go very smoothly. But that was part of the reason that they ended up with Mark Pope, is that he wasn't their first choice, and obviously without the Kentucky ties, he wouldn't have been one of their top 5 choices. But
right,
that's the thing. If you let him go, it's like you have to go through this whole coaching search again. And
it reminds me of what Penn State had done in football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
you fired James Franklin. Now what?
Yeah, not only that, but you have all. In that case, you have the entire season to do the coaching search, and it's still a struggle. So that's the thing in basketball. Like you can't, you don't have. If you're going to make the decision, you better have a very good idea of who you're going to pursue and whether those people are interested in taking your job. And we saw that actually a lot last year in the tournament, where guys were essentially coaching their teams that had already made deals to coach other teams. This season just weren't public about it. But that's just the way it's got to be, because the recruiting cycle is just instantaneous now in the sport.
I'm curious, when you're taking all this heat in November and December, the transfer portal is so wild now. Teams are completely remaking themselves. We just had Jared Calhoun on, 5 returning guys, 5 freshmen, 5 transfers. One of the transfers, Colby King, is playing at his 4th school in 4 years. Shouldn't there be some expectation both from you and from the audience? Like, hey, it's going to take a while to figure this out. Just don't take anything seriously 2, 4, 6 games into the season. It's too early.
I mean, that is that's what I would preach to people. I think in general, if your team gets off to a hot start in the first 4 games, and you're not rated well in my ratings or whatever, it's just like that's just the way it works. Like you're gonna, that fan base is going to be extremely impatient and demand that they be respected by all parties. But that is the fun of college basketball, is that you can, first of all, in this era, obviously you can surprise people, but also you can fake it for like 6 or 8 games. Like you can look like a pretty good team for 6 or 8 games and actually not be that good of a team, or vice versa. I mean, you go back and look at previous seasons, and teams get off the slow starts, and then they figure it out. I mean, Houston was a team like that last year. I mean, people, I don't know how familiar they are with Houston necessarily. I'm sure they're familiar with the fact that they were in the national title game, and they didn't lose a game on the road in the Big 12 last year, which is outrageous. But early in the season, they lose a game to San Diego State, and they tumble down the AP poll, and people kind of wonder, are they just, are they going to crumble in Big 12 play? We finally have this moment where Houston, obviously in a Big 12 expansion team, is not ready for the moment, although the previous year they were very good. But and then they end up being great. And so, the premise of your question suggests, I guess, that people look at this rationally early in the season, and that's not really what fans do. And I don't expect them to. And I'm all good with it, guys.
With the situation now of players coming in as freshmen, and they have a lot of hype when they come in. Last year we did it, and we've already established like the top 3 guys, and it seems like for the NBA draft, and the top 3 this year, and we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, DeBonsa, Peterson for Kansas has had the injury, hadn't been on the floor that much, and then you got Carlos' son, Cam Boozer, and so already. And I've seen all these guys play because they were on ESPN before they even get to this level. And obviously I've seen DeBonsa play in person several times already. Boozer now, I'm intrigued by him because the guy's a double-double machine here in college so far through the non-conference. And now you're starting to see knocks on him. Oh, well, he can't do this. He's undersized, blah, 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 whatever it might be. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I love him. I mean, I love the type of player who's not overly athletic. I mean, kind of a below the rim big, but
right. That's the number one knock against him.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, those kind of things do matter when you end up playing in the best basketball league in the world. But he's just so phenomenally skilled, and he's not like slow or anything. Like I think his feet are like reasonably quick. His reaction time is really good. So, he makes up for some of those. He makes up for the below the rim stuff in some ways. Like that, obviously, that will be the question. When teams when these guys go through the draft process, is, for number one, you see certainly the athleticism from Devonsa and what he can do,
right.
and to a lesser extent, Darren Peterson. Peterson just looks so smooth out there, even though, as you mentioned, he has had the injury. But when he's been on the floor, even at 75%, he still looks really good. So all those things come into play. But yeah, certainly with Cam, it's a question of the athleticism. But the production is outrageous, and the production against good teams has been pretty good. Like, yeah, he will go 5-7 minutes without necessarily making an impact on the game. But like, I don't care who you're talking about at this level. Like that happens. We could find those stretches for AJ Devonsa as well. The people are maybe being a little overly critical on Cam just simply because of the lack of athleticism necessarily. But overall, like at the end of the day, you look at his production, even against great teams, and it's been worthy of the hype of potentially being the number one pick.
Well, the skill matters a lot, and he's got it. And honestly, just it reminds me so much of watching his dad, because his dad was highly skilled, and his dad was undersized and didn't have great lift, and it really didn't limit what the Jazz could do until they ran into a team like the Lakers, who they lost to 3 times in 4 years, and the Lakers had 3 7-footers across the front line. And so the skill can overcome a little bit of that lack of explosiveness and a little bit of that lack of size, but when you put 3 guys out on the court, there are going to be limitations, and that goes back to your point about, well, it's the best league in the world, and when you run into the best teams in the best leagues, there can be a bit of a ceiling there.
Yeah, and what's interesting? Like Carlos, my recollection is he was one of the first guys who, his analytics started becoming a thing relative to the draft. Like he was one of the first guys who, like the nerds in the on the dark web at that time, were like, why is this guy not profiled higher in the draft? Why is he not like a lottery pick, really? Mm-hmm. Because, the same knock, like he wasn't athletic, but he was just supremely productive back in an ACC that was, easily the best league in the country, playing top 10 teams all the time. It's like, obviously, yeah, this guy he doesn't meet the athletic profile of an NBA player, but production-wise, against really good competition, he's outstanding, obviously very skilled, and ultimately that was a win for the nerds on the dark web.
All right, well, we'll leave it right there, Ken. We appreciate it, as always. Thanks for a little December college basketball talk.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We'll talk to you again. Ken Pomeroy. You can follow him, kenpom.com, for everything you want to know about college basketball and your team and your conference and where they fit in the bigger world. And he'll keep getting that dialed in as they play more games. Right now, it looks like there's a group of, say, probably 11 teams at the top of his rankings, all with 0 or 1 loss, many of them with the loss coming to one of the other teams in that group. So when he says the top 2 to 3 seed for BYU, you can see why he says that.
I think 3 would be way low.
3 is low, 2 is right, 1 is high? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't think I don't necessarily think 1 is high, but it could be. But I think 3 is too low. If I'm BYU and get a 3 seed, that's a disappointment. I don't think there's any difference between a 2 and a 1. But not that you can't get where you want, because the Utes were, I think they got to the Final Four of the year. They were the 3 seed. But that just seems to me too low. But who knows? I mean, they have to go out and starting. They have a couple more games to go, but then they got the conference season, and that's going to be obviously difficult. And Keita gets foul trouble or somebody has the flu, because I don't think they're all that deep. It's clear that Kevin Young is trying to develop depth, but and they've got this big man coming in that they were talking about redshirting, but maybe they might have to use him this season because you're only going to have Devonsa here until hopefully for you guys the first week of April, and hopefully for our show the first week of April.
There you go. Now you're talking. Now back to us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll root for them all the way.
A lot of times there is a difference between a 1 and 2. If it turns out there really, and maybe there isn't, maybe it's just early in the year, if there is a big break from like the number 11 team to the number 12 team, yeah, if you get to 1, you're setting yourself up for an easier Sweet 16 game. That'd be the advantage.
On paper,
ultimately,
yeah.
On paper, right. Ultimately, you're going to be playing each other here, But if you're a 2-3, you could have one extra tough game that a 1 seed doesn't have.
The Utes Van Horn senior year, they got a 2 seed, but it was the fourth 2 seed, which then means you play the first 1 seed, so they went up against Kentucky.
Yikes, when Kentucky was at its peak.
Yeah.
Kentucky had a 3-year stretch there. This is before you were born, Chicho. Kentucky had a 3-year stretch where they went 17-1 in the NCAA tournament. And the one loss was in overtime in the title game to Arizona, who won it all. It was an awesome stretch. 8, 9 NBA guys on a team. It was unreal.
And they could have had 2 Final Fours in a row if they weren't underseeded, I believe, as the fourth 2 seed. If they would have been the second or third 2 seed.
Now they're in a different region from Kentucky, and maybe they get through.
Right.
The difference in 3 years in a row is when you run into Kentucky. They ran into them every year. Ran into them Sweet 16, Elite 8, and national title game.
I was there every year.
And maybe Van Horn's in the national title game if they get a different draw.
Right.
Maybe Kentucky was the only team that could handle them.
Right.
So we'll see how this plays out with BYU. The interesting thing with BYU is these top 11 teams, if you look at KenPom.com right now, we're going to see them play these teams because Iowa State, Big 12 team, is number 3. Right. Arizona, Big 12 team, is number 4. And BYU is at 8, and Houston is at 9. So 4 of the top 9 teams are Big 12, and they're going to play Iowa State and Houston once, and they're going to play Arizona twice.
Yeah.
So plenty of big games
January
and tests.
and February.
And they've already played one of the teams because their one loss is to UConn, who's in that group.
Yeah.
I don't think they've played anybody else in that group. Am I missing somebody? I don't think so.
Top 10 you're talking about?
Yeah, in this top 10 or 11 group.
I don't have it in front of me, but I don't think so.
No, they haven't played anybody else. All right, DJ and PK, everything you missed in this show coming up next. Stay with us.
For all of you, less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local, trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com.
Christmas is a rocking time. Put your body next to mine. Underneath the mistletoe we go.
Sounds a little more like we got Charlie Brown and Lucy and Linus here. Where's Snoopy?
He's hanging on.
Hang. Time to get you up to date on everything you missed in this show. If you want college basketball, wherever you get your podcast, Jared Calhoun, Utah State basketball coach. I enjoy him as an interview. He'll give you stuff. He'll say stuff. And Ken Pomeroy, KenPom.com, on how the leagues line up, how the Cougars line up, what he's expecting in college basketball this year, and what he's seen through the first 10 games or so. Get those wherever you get your podcasts. The Utah Jazz, I don't know what to make of that 10th win they picked up over Dallas. You're playing a depleted team. There were no bigs for either team. It wasn't really an NBA game. There's a lack of size there that reminded me a little more of a college game. The guys really attacked the rim. But I assume we're really going to get the Lakers tonight. Now, Markkanen's questionable, so we may not really get the Jazz tonight.
Yeah, he's always questionable, though.
There it is.
He's a questionable guy.
Questionable.
And I think that's generally for Finnish people.
Just judged all of Finland, just bones.
Well, let's go the whole Scandinavian area.
No, that's it. Norway and Sweden, you're
right,
up.
Right. My neighbors are from Norway. Yeah. Very questionable.
Okay. Nice. That's where this is going all along. Cheap shot at your neighbors. Questionable with a groin injury. I hear questionable, and I usually think out, but we'll see how that goes. You accused me of jumping the gun.
Well,
and
I think Rock had some
stat
that the questionable, the stats favor them playing.
Okay. Just not for the Jazz last year when they were tanking, and maybe that's what got in my brain. League-wide, maybe they play, but...
Yeah, he had some stat
in the Jazz
it,
last year, not
surprisingly.
So much. All right.
So we'll see, man. Lakers coming in town. Could be LeBron's swan song in Salt Lake City.
The last time through town. Another era, another marker. We're all getting older.
What a phenomenal run whenever he decides to hang it. I would like to see him hang it up after this year.
Don't hang on. You're still at a good enough level, but the drop can get pretty quick at this age. So careful with that.
think it might be a little Whittingham-Scally thing in terms of Doncic, LeBron.
Let him shine.
They want to build around
Clearly.
Doncic.
He's much younger.
Right.
And elite.
Yes, and then the money and all, and Reeves has blossomed into a player, which is really fun to see for an undrafted kid.
They're still not a complete team. They're good, but when they run into very good or great, they're going to have a problem. But LeBron's $52 million coming off the books. I mean, they could go into next year with probably not $60 million, but $55, $56 million in cap room and a chance to do something because Rui Hachimura comes off the books. Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, they can really rebuild this roster. If they choose, maybe they'll spend some of the money re-signing these guys.
But at the same time, could they get a big time guy? I don't think so.
Who's big time out there that they...
I don't know who's available on the free agents or trades.
Right.
But you're going in minimally to play second fiddle.
Yep. And so who's big time who would be interested in that?
Right. Yeah. Because if you're a big-time player, you're used to being the guy, and you've probably been the guy your whole life, and now you're going to come in, and the other guy's the guy, and he's got the ball. And he decides whether you get the ball or not. And he's used to having the ball, and he's used to firing it up at will.
He's going to have the ball at the end of the games. You're going to have 12 minutes to shine when he sits, but at the rest of the time, you're going to be dependent on him.
Right. Doesn't mean there's not somebody out there who can be a great complementary player to him, but that's just it. You're going to have to be a complementary player to him.
Well, we'll see what the Lakers do.
Mm-hmm.
But first things first, we see the Lakers, who are 18-7, playing the Jazz tonight. They do have a good team.
Yeah.
Would you describe them as very good or great?
Well, I wouldn't describe anybody who hasn't already proven that they're great yet. This season is too soon into it to anoint a team that I don't already think has proven to be great.
So Oklahoma City and Denver, great?
Denver's got some new guys this year. In the last couple of years, they've made some moves.
Which they needed to. They were getting too thin.
Right, no question about it. Right now, to me, I'm most comfortable with OKC, and then we'll see about Denver. So you look at a team like Detroit. They are putting up a really good record. But they haven't done anything, so I can't anoint them great.
I get it. And if you don't want to anoint San Antonio, which is I thought what you were getting at when you said that,
right.
That was the first team that came to my mind. My Western bias showing
Well,
up.
they have to. It's too soon.
Mm-hmm.
If we get to March and they're 58 wins and so forth, well, that may be a new thing. And then, of course, once you get to that point, then you have to start over again because you have no particular playoff run.
And you're down on the Rockets without Van Vliet, although they did add in Durant shooting. And he's leading them in scoring.
They're good, but I just wonder if
that's
their depth
to the point
will bite them in the end.
They are good, and I just thought it came down to the question of whether you want to say they're very good or they're great.
And they're new.
They are new, mostly.
With him, he's new.
Right. And they have the disadvantage of being in the West. If you're in the East, I could see them getting through that. For the same reason I can see Detroit getting through the East. And I don't think it's that good.
Right, and that's why we talked about that the league needs to consider seeding them.
1 through 16 instead of East and West, which does limit travel.
And have a 2-hour show. Like instead of an hour for the lottery with the seeds.
Well, they just have the standings. They wouldn't have.
No, seed. Don't they? They can actually.
Oh, you want to get an NBA committee?
They could literally seed them.
You want to get an NBA committee together?
They could.
They could. They won't, but they could.
Because it's not even close to balanced.
It's not. No. There's an argument to be made that the top 5 teams in the league are all in the same conference. And I think it's pretty clear that the top 2 are. But if you want to go 3, 4, 5, I can see it. 5 of the top 7 or 6 of the top 8 in the West.
I don't want to get caught up in the moment, though. Because right now, and it's been this way for a bit, but who's to say that, well, then why would you do that in 2 or 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is, that it'll be more balanced so there's no need for it?
Right, but doesn't it seem for 25 years, we've probably said this at least 15, maybe 20 times, The East has been way out of the whack with the
but
West for a long
Boston got a
time.
title.
Well, I think Eastern teams have won about a third of the titles since Jordan hung it
And
up.
so then the West has won a half. What's the big deal?
No, 2/3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not what you just said.
Well, that's more.
Okay, you're bored. Next topic.
Bored with what? Your stats?
Chicho, if you're not aware, this always happens in the 9 o'clock hour. It took a little longer today.
You should see
Ken
me.
Pomeroy probably
You
helped.
should see me in the 11 o'clock hour.
Oh, my gosh, out of control.
Yeah, they cut us off at 10 for a reason.
The noon hour.
See, I think there's
crash.
some logic to that.
Take a nap.
Oh, you shut it down?
Oh, yeah. At that point, I've gone so hard for so long. I need to rest.
So hard.
It's like when the dog at night gets the zoomies.
Yeah. And I'm so don't, between noon and 1, I'm of no use to anyone.
Killing me. Seahawks and Rams tonight. Looking forward to this. 11-3
for sure.
versus 11-3.
Yeah.
Winner gets the inside track to the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs and a bye and a couple of home games.
Well, I'm going to have to get out the computer, though, because I want to watch the Jazz game, too.
Yeah.
And when the streaming stuff, you just can't flick back and forth. They've got to create a way that
to channel surf streaming.
Yeah.
It takes too long.
Right.
Oh, I got to go. I can't wait for this spinning wheel of death and waiting for it to
You
load.
literally can't do it.
No. But you get the computer out, you stream the game on that, and then you put the Jazz game up on the TV,
Either
and you
or.
can channel surf to whatever you need to during the Jazz timeout. I don't know what else is on tonight that you would need to.
Nothing is cut.
A little thin out there tonight, maybe.
Maybe L.A. Law and Hill Street Blues.
Dude.
What?
You named 2 Thursday night shows on Thursday is pretty impressive.
Because I watched them.
I did too. Everybody did. And the day, that was it. Thursday's the night. It was like, well, it is. They're the best.
It was only 3 shows
What do you mean it was only 3 shows?
for me.
Oh, that you ever watch? You watch Cheers. It was also Thursday's the night show.
I was thinking later into the 90s, not 80s.
Oh.
I was thinking Wonder Years,
Oh, Wonder Years was great.
Hill Street Blues,
Binge the Wonder Years if you haven't seen it.
L.A. Law. And L.A. Law wasn't always for me. It was for my wife.
Okay.
Because we lived in California at the time, and that meant it came on at 10 o'clock.
And
And sometimes I had to
You either
start a
had to-
shift at 6 a.m.
either you were still at work and you couldn't watch, or you
Yeah.
had to get up early and you couldn't watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was it.
Yeah, I watch those. But I watch more of that stuff than you.
Yeah.
Do you stream any shows now?
No.
If
You,
s-
you mean like non-sports?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I've given up completely.
Yeah. The Diplomat. Really good. Tell your wife to watch it. She'll like
Probably
it.
does.
Yeah.
She does,
She'll
but
like
she's upstairs with the dog.
That was good.
I'm downstairs. The only time we meet from like 7 to 10 is I text her and I tell her I'm thirsty.
You're so bad. You're so bad.
What?
You know
The
why.
refrigerator is upstairs.
So go over and get yourself something to drink. Bring me a drink, woman? Is that what you text?
I just say
What
I'm
do you-
thirsty. That's all. I don't order
Does
anybody
she-
to do anything.
Does she text back too bad?
If
People,
you
you
treat
would-
a
you would
woman
vote.
correctly,
I have a great story about this one.
things
We're
will unfold
way
the way
late.
you want.
We're way
and
late to
I
break.
know how to treat a woman correctly.
So
Simple as that.
A long time ago when I was booking weekend shows, and it was somewhere around the year probably 2000. The Jazz are out of the playoffs early. I don't know what to do. There's a cancer walk. Bobby
Why didn't you
Sloan.
call me?
Bobby Sloan is the. We hadn't bonded yet. It was before the show. Bobby Sloan is the honorary marshal of this
Jerry's
walk.
first wife, yes.
Yes, Jerry Sloan's first wife. And I said, maybe I could. And my wife said, absolutely, get her on TV. People are super curious who would marry a guy with that personality who's losing it during games.
Oh, but that's not the way he was.
Yes, but the people don't know that because they're not around him when they aren't during games. We have her on. She's smart. She's charming. She tells great stories. She'd beaten cancer once at that point. Eventually, cancer would get her, but she beat it once. That's why she had her out there. She was an awesome interview. It was a great show. The ratings came in. They were massive. I told my wife, and she just looked at me and goes, "You're welcome." She totally called it. I think Jackie's the same way. She tends to want to stay in the background, but people would be fascinated by her.
assassinated?
Yes. Number one, same question. Who would put up with this?
If you treat a
And
woman
number two,
correctly, they'll respond.
Number two, she's a teacher with a bunch of great stories, and people would find that interesting if she'll tell them.
Get her on KSL then.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5. Stay with us. Your feedback next.
And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Oh, I was there. It's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join the KSL Sports Zone and Minky Couture and Draper tomorrow from noon to 3. Minky Couture has you covered with this holiday season with the best gift ever. Visit minkycouture.com and come visit noon to 3 tomorrow. DJ and PK, your feedback. People are not shedding any crocodile tears, no sentimentality with LeBron coming through for the last time.
Haters.
Yeah. Is the Pacific AD right in tweeting BYU's basketball team is just a bunch of players with bags of cash? Yes. The team of talented players with substantial financial resources employs a sports administrator and coach who exhibit a sense of superiority and refuse to play against the Utah State University. Those snobby chickens down south. It's highly likely that an in-state school would beat them. U-State Iceman. Jack wants a shot at BYU.
Well, Utah will get a shot at
Utah
them.
will. Yes, they'll get two, actually. They're going to play home and home in the Big 12 season.
That is a fact.
Utah State have to be in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Maybe line something up there. Cougar Mike, keep winning, and we'll see you in March. A little pat on the head there from Cougar Mike. Nice. All right, DJ and PK, we're out of time. Jake and Ben are up next.